Hello everybody, this video is going to be a lot of predictions regarding the Mayan calendar. It's really more of a schedule, and it's really just my predictions that I've come across over the last so many years. I'll give you the likelihood I think each one will happen. I got one on here that has, I think, a 35% chance, a 20% chance. So really highly unlikely things that I would think to be more likely. Quite a few that I believe to be well over 90 to 100% of a likelihood. So let's get started. The date today is like May the 24th-ish, 25th, I don't know. But what I do know is that I believe there's a good chance that the way we see the Gregorian calendar after the Mayan calendar comes to an end will be much different. And this whole end of the world thing, it's end of the world as we know it to so many degrees. This December 21st date, I don't know the date of the Mayan calendar, and that's going to be one of my predictions as we move forward. Some think it's 2012, some think it's 2011, it could be 2013, don't know. Well, and I'll get into that in a little bit. So let's get started. The first thing is Harold Camping, who was talking about this rapture over this past weekend. Now this didn't happen. There wasn't a major earthquake, and a whole bunch of people didn't perish into the heavens. While a lot of people have to go through 6 months of all of this turbulence or apocalyptic type events. Well, as far as the 6 months are concerned, I'm going to have to agree to that to a little degree. As apocalyptic as a lot of it sounds, I don't think it's going to be as bad. In fact, I think it's going to be just as good, and we're going to really find out what the law of polarity really means this year and next year, or at least from the point we reach the Mayan calendar and the years that follow past it, we'll really have a good understanding of the law of polarity. And the polarity of all these apocalyptic negative events, well, that's a lot of positive things. And I do expect a lot of positive things to happen in the near future, as it's mixed with a lot of the negative things. The whole theology that all these Christians get to not experience all this type of stuff, no. Everyone here will experience it, and most likely, whether you die or you're not, the spiritual self is going to have to experience this one-time event right now. Okay, next one. The Bible, you will find out that it's very much misinterpreted, but has a lot of good information within it, and if you're really good at reading between the lines, you can get a lot of information from that. I'm not going to talk much more about the Bible, although I have 2 specific predictions regarding that I'll get into it when it's ready. The weather. This is a 100% shot that the weather is going to keep escalating, getting worse and worse, whether it be tornadoes, floods, tsunamis, you name it. It's happening. It's so clear to see, and as we get closer to the Mayan calendar end date, it's going to keep escalating a little bit more, and at that time frame, that's when it should come to a peak for the weather. And that's all I need to say about that. Next one happens to deal with the way we eat. I'm about 100% confident that the human species is going to completely stop eating meat together, or massively stop eating it. Right now, somebody who's a complete vegetarian who never touches meat is that of the minority. That's all going to change, where someone who eats meat even just a little bit, once a week or once a month, will become that of a minority as we move into a more positive age. Next one, about 100% likelihood of money and currency becoming that of dead. The first one is that of fiat currency. This is a worldwide event because every world has a fiat currency, whether it's United States, Japan, Canada, Russia, Sweden, Australia, Brazil. If I missed your country, it's that one too, because you all have fiat currencies. And the likelihood for this to happen is in or around when the Mayan calendar ends. After all, the rapture was stating like 6 months of all of this escalating type of bad things to happen. And during that 6-month period, or at least the time frame of when the Mayan calendar ends, more and more stuff happens. And somewhere around that 0 date, whether it's a little bit before or a little bit afterwards, is when the currency should probably die. Now, following that, the most likely scenario, and this is about a 90% likelihood, is that we would be in that of a gold, silver, commodity type of standard, which will be much better than the one that we currently have today. The one we have guarantees massive debt, and this one would most likely be a lot better, but still not the greatest, to the point that a resource-based economy has a 100% shot of working, but the dynamics of such is up for question. The dynamics being, how close is this going to be from what Peter Joseph has been implementing towards his movies? Probably somewhat similar, but as we evolve and gain more information, we can make it even better from what was prescribed for us or suggested within that film. Also, most likely what would happen is portions of the world will be working within a capitalistic system and other portions within a resource-based economy. And this can work out very well, because if you're working on one side of the planet and you have a resource-based economy, and let's assume you make bananas and the rest of the world doesn't. Now the capitalistic people want to say, hey, we want bananas, and we got this silver we'll trade for you. Okay, so we'll take the silver on your end, and here are your bananas. And then of course they'll take the bananas and resell them. But in a resource-based economy, they just take the silver and then use it for their industrial purposes. So they could work hand in hand, but eventually as we go through the years, the resource-based economy, where people work for the people, would become an entire planetary event. The likelihood for the years for it to start is after the Mayan calendar ends. You need the currency to collapse, and I would think on a whole planetary level between 2050 and 2100. Okay, the next one has about a 20% likelihood. So it's not that likely at all. And you're going to think I'm crazy when I say this. And I think I'm crazy when I say this. In approximately 2,000 years from now, 2,000 to 3,000 years from now, we will be visited upon some very evil, most likely technology-based entities that are there to destroy this world and be very, very evil and needed. Why would it be needed? Because the world will have way, way too much love. This would probably last for hundreds to thousands of years, or hundreds to many hundreds of years, and around, like I say, 4000 AD. That's all I want to say about that, because, like I say, 20%. Next one, 90% likely. This is humans to live past the ages of 200, but not only that, but even 500 or even 1,000. This is to be coming soon. Meaning the people who are born within the next few decades, a lot of them will be able to live past the years of 150 to 200, and people born 50 to 100 years from now will be able to live past 500.